Hey, what's up, YouTube? I am exhausted, and I'm really exhausted. Been ripping and running, and I'm looking at my shirt. I don't have a bra on, and I'm looking how, and probably other women have this issue too. The cups are up here. The cups are, well, you can't. The cups are up here, but that's not where my boobs are. Now, if it had a support or something on it, I'm sure that's where they would be. But it's just so odd when it has a place that's mandated for boobs. I think all halter chops, because even if I was big chested, the I mean, it's just not right. You know what I'm saying? They need to have like a wire or something under there so that I had a jacket on top, so it didn't matter. But it needs to have a wire or something to keep your boobs where they're supposed to be, as opposed to flatten them against your chest. But the topic of the day, and I had on a sweatshirt earlier, so yay for me, clothes. But the topic for the day, there's a few of them, but I'm just gonna give you a rundown of what just happened. Um, and I'm gonna say this too as a disclaimer. You're gonna find that I speak a lot on occurrences that happen to me on a day-to-day basis, and this is wash and go. But so yeah, it's not a comb or anything like that. It's just kind of washed and ran my fingers through it. But as you know, I'm a 40-year-old woman. You might as well say that maybe about a year or two shy. But I was walking back in this area that I've been kind of, I guess, camping out in for the past year or so. Um, and as I was walking, I have like this big roller cart, and on the roller cart, I have a big old bag, and in the big old bag, I have tons of like linens and stuff like that. And as I'm walking back, next thing I know, the corner of my eye, I see a black guy running. And it scared the bejesus out of me because, first of all, I didn't see anybody. If I saw somebody and was expecting somebody, that'd be one thing. But I didn't see anything. All of a sudden, there's like a big, yeah, thing here. I felt it was huge. But all of a sudden, you can see the frizzies. But all of a sudden, he came out of nowhere and it scared me. And I was like, okay, maybe he's just jogging. Let me get out of his way. So I moved over to the side and he stops. And at that point, I'm really scared because I'm just like, where did this guy come out of nowhere, running me down? And so, as I look at him, he's dark skinned. The whites of his eyes have a little bit of a brownish tint. And when I see that, it makes me think of people from different countries for some reason, like Nigeria and that type of thing. And my daddy was dark, dark black too. And he had a little bit of browning. Like the inside of his hands was brown. And I think most black people are kind of mixed in some parts. So our inside of our hands are, most of us are white on the inside of our hands and on the bottom of our feet and our eyes and our teeth and gums and all that stuff. But his eyes, the part around his eyes was brown, and he stopped and he looked young when I looked at him. He looked about 18, and that scared me even more because I'm just like, there's just absolutely no reason for this. First of all, this boy to come running out of nowhere and then stop. And I gotta be honest with you, because I saw the brown in his eyes, I said, well, he's not African American, he's African something, but not African American. But he sounded African American, so maybe his parents were from somewhere else. But he stopped, and I was just like, I don't remember the whole conversation because I was like scared out of my wits. So I turned around and I was like, um, you scared me. And he was just like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just thought you were beautiful. And at that point, I'm confused, and I think any woman that's over 35, if you have someone that approaches you that appears to be 10 years or younger than you, depending on what type of woman you are. For me, I'm kind of a recluse, so, but no, I shouldn't even say that. I'm, I just don't understand. But for any woman that's like almost 40, if you have someone like run up on you and it doesn't connect, you know what I'm saying? Those words don't connect to you. And I've seen this happen in other older women where I remember I was on a bus one time and there was a lady, and even if you're a woman, even if you've gotten fat and unattractive, you still want to treat yourself every now and then. This woman, she was probably a 45-year-old woman or so, dressed appropriately, slacks, blazer, nice shirt, has some Victoria's Secret shopping bags, and she's not paying attention. She just treated herself to something nice. She's standing on the bus and about to have a leisurely rest of the evening. So these two young boys get on the bus, and they're like, "Excuse me, miss. Oh, I see you treated yourself today." And she was like, "Yeah, and she turned around because a little bit of just interaction is okay because it's for us. It's almost like you're saying, I see you and I encourage you, thank you for taking care of yourself. But then the boys go even further because then from that point, they've gone on to, oh, I see you guys. Yeah, and then the guy was just like, oh, I'm sure it looked really nice on you. And from the look on her face, and I just had to laugh because I know exactly what she was feeling. It was just sheer confusion because her mind wasn't even there. The look on her face, it was priceless. I wish I could record it. It was the look on her face was like it was just pure confusion. If you can imagine what pure confusion looks like, because it just didn't calculate, Because first he went from, oh, I see you treated yourself today, and she's just like, yeah, and she turns back around. I'm sure that would look really nice on you, and it's just like, and she wasn't like I said, it was pure confusion because it wasn't anger like, such and such and such and such. It was just confusion. Like, it just didn't even connect for there to be an angry reaction. It was just straight up confused. And that's exactly how I felt because when he said that out of his mouth, I was confused. I mean, it just confuses you for a minute because you're just like, what? And cause he was just like, cause he ran, like literally ran. And the sad thing about this situation is because through the conversation, and I know why I had these bags under my eyes. I'll tell y'all in a minute. But through this conversation, but I'm gonna go ahead and with the conversation. And he says, "Oh, you were so beautiful and such and such and such." And I'm looking at him, and I'm like I said, mere confusion. So much confusion, I can't even really remember the exact words that came out of my mouth. And I was just like, "What?" And he was just like, I was wondering, if I could get to know you. And he just started walking with me. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And I stopped it right there. And I don't remember all the conversation, but all I know is that then he asked me about my name. And I was just like, um, I don't remember what I said. All I know was that then I was just like, whatever, you can make up one for me. I don't remember the conversation. It was just so confusing to me. Something so small could be so confusing. But I was just like, whatever, we make up. And he's like, okay, I'll call you Scarlett. And I looked at him, and I was just like, Scarlett. I was like, do you know what the name Scarlett means? And now this is again gauging the age gap between us because he was just like like Scarlett Johansson. And I was like, that didn't even cross my mind. There's a big age gap. And I'm like, no. And he was like, oh, the Scarlet Letter. I was like, yes, you know. And I was like, that's not me. And so then basically he was flirting, but he wasn't like flirting to the point where it was obnoxious, but obviously to me, and I may be wrong. I'm not wrong because I've been camping out in this area for like a year, and if boy this boy is just now saying something to me, there's a problem. And then on top of that too, I was like, then I went on to try to change the conversation to, instead of like I talk about other people that divide, let me find that common ground and work from there. So I asked him, and I was like, of all the things you could chase a woman down for, you chased me down because for a snapshot of an image, just for that mere second that I walked past, you thought I was attractive. You know what I'm saying? But I've been walking past a lot, And if you, and so, but anyhow, I was, like I said, so anyhow, I'm like, well, there's far better things to chase a female down for because it's just a snapshot. That's not a true indication of how this woman or this person is at all times. There's a lot of things going on in our world today that you need to be knowledgeable, aware of. And then he's like, oh, teach me. And so, I feel sorry. I'm going to tell y'all for all these women that are falling prey to these young boys. And, I'm going to say this. You're not, the women are not always prey to them. But because I think some of them are actually mature, but these are boys. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, you can have a 50-year-old boy, but this was a this is a boy, a 25-year-old boy, still a boy. And the reason why is not merely because of the age, but and it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's the innocence in him because at a certain point in your life, you realize there ain't nobody in the world worth chasing down. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody worth chasing down. You know, nobody for any reason at all. You know, so I don't know what the situation was with him. Maybe because I had all that stuff. But generally homeless people are not attractive, are not like the catch. But maybe because I had all that stuff, maybe I don't think he thought. I don't know what he was thinking. Like maybe he was thinking exactly what he said. But then so I started getting into topics about things that may be more um, purposeful, in order, that we could discuss, like I said, trying to find a common ground. And he was like, oh, these are things he used to research years back. He's not doing researching it no more. And then I was just like, well, these are things that I'd be interested in knowing, and I told him a list of questions, and I asked him if I could interview him about that, if he wanted to meet me at this place in an hour to interview. And, I was in, I guess I don't know what his intention was because I think young boys are a little bit different. When you're young like that, he was probably thinking, I'm gonna just walk with her to wherever she's going. She's gonna do what she has to do, and then we'll hang out. You know what I'm saying? That's what their mentality is, and I understand that mentality because when I was younger, even up through my 20s, I had that mentality too. But when it comes to a woman and home base or whatever shack base, whatever you want to call it, you that's not happening. You know what I'm saying? That is like, but like, I mean, times have changed a lot. So I don't know what this boy was thinking, but I'm still flabbergasted, still flabbergasted by that because I mean, just the fact that he ran up on me like that, and then come to find out, he says he lives on a house on a corner, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's the same house where not even okay, he's flirting with me, but on top of that, his parents flirt with me when I walk past too. So I'm just like, I guess his parents had gotten tired of it, or either they said something and mentioned it, and he was like, "Oh, she's too young for them." You know what I'm saying? That's just wrong. So um, yeah. So okay. So that's it. I know I didn't get a point across, but it's okay. I just wanted to vent.